Man, I don't know about you, but I am so stoked for NXT TakeOver War Games this weekend on Saturday. And I don't know how to tell you, man, but words cannot even describe. Seriously. We only have 4 matches, and those 4 matches are more than enough for me to, be as excited as I am. Seriously, compare how the main roster just floods their pay-per-views with 8, 9 matches and 4 hours long. The way NXT does it is 2 hours long and a decent amount of matches. And they always deliver, man. So, we have the War Games match. Undisputed Era versus War Raiders versus Ricochet versus Pete Dunne. We have Karissa versus Shayna Baszler on a 2 out of 3 falls match for the NXT Women's Championship. Ciampa versus Dream for the NXT Championship. And Johnny Gargano versus Alistair Black, which I believe Johnny Gargano versus Alistair Black will be the match of the night. And it's funny how Ciampa was like the biggest thing, when it came to Gargano, the Gargano and Ciampa feud, and now we've from the time that the investigation went on, and we found out that Gargano is now was the one who attacked Alistair Black. Everything, just the momentum, just swung onto their feud, and Ciampa was left out of it. And it's been suppressed. It's been it's been a little toned down as far as Ciampa's momentum and presence. Of course he's still as great as he is, the best heel in WWE in my opinion. But I don't know, man. It's just been he's just been on a little sidelines. He's been on the sidelines and he's just not as important. Like, the spotlight is not really completely on him. But this is another case of a feud being bigger than the NXT Championship itself. Again, how in this time now Ciampa is on that end, while Gargano and Black are the center of attention in the biggest feud on NXT going on right now. See how that worked? It's weird, but, the feud speaks for itself, Like, Alistair Black is the hottest babyface right now. Gargano is pretty much a tweener, which I really don't understand why they would go with that. But JD described it best. The symbiote got attached to Gargano, and Gargano is now Spider-Man. The black suit Spider-Man, Spider-Man 3. That's exactly how it is. There's no better words to describe Gargano right now. And he needs to detach himself from that. So, with that said, we'll see where Gargano goes along with this. Possibly aligning himself with Tommaso Ciampa and reforming the heel DIY. Who knows? Maybe. But in order to come back to the light, you must walk through the storm. So, Gargano right now is in a dark tunnel. Maybe, just maybe, that is what's needed, and an eventual Johnny Gargano face turn and turn on Ciampa, and then all of a sudden we have Johnny wrestling once again in full force, just as over as he was back in January when he was fucking hot as no one else was ever. So, we'll see what goes on with that. Now, NXT started tonight with Bianca Belair versus Mia Yim. Bianca Belair had interrupted Kathy Kelly and Mia Yim as Kathy was interviewing Mia. And Mia Yim was talking about how excited she was, being in NXT and all that. But Bianca came in and made herself known that she is the EST of NXT, and she's undefeated. So, the match was made official last week, and now the match went on tonight. Mia went off starting strong. She was dropping drop kick after drop kick, and at one point I thought we were in Dropkick City because she kept spamming the drop kick. But Belair regains control, and then Mia hits a gut-wrench suplex for a 2 count, kicks out of that, and then Bianca goes for a spinebuster for a 2 count. Then Mia goes for her finisher, but Bianca counters it and hits a KOD for the win. Bianca Belair, as you already know, and a lot of people will agree on me when I say that, Bianca Belair, when Takeover War Games is done and Shayna Baszler loses the championship and Kairi Sane regains it, because I'm going to talk about that because I know for a fact Shayna's going to lose the title, Bianca Belair will be the one inserted into a feud with Kairi Sane, the challenger for the NXT championship, which I guarantee you this feud will go on until WrestleMania weekend, where I believe, and I'm pretty sure, Kairi Sane will lose the championship to Bianca, and then Kairi will be called up the Raw after WrestleMania, or preferably SmackDown. You know, considering how much shittier the women's division is on Raw. But I think that's what's gonna happen, man. You know, Bianca is still undefeated. I believe I think, you know, they did the same thing with Asuka, but not, of course, Bianca Belair's undefeated streak is not in the same level of Asuka. Asuka was a huge deal. You know, she's already seasoned in wrestling. You know, she came in, she continued on with that. Bianca has been maturing and getting better down in NXT. So, and, you know, I don't like to refer it as to down in NXT because NXT is above WWE. And you've seen the post the video I posted on my Facebook page at Stay292 when Adam Cole told Seth Rollins that I believe that a lot of people agree with me that NXT is way better than WWE. That is factual, Mr. Cole. So yes, that is definitely true. And for those of you that might say, "Oh, but NXT is part of WWE, so they're the same company." Well, let me tell you that NXT operates in a completely different manner, okay? And the main roster, WWE, up there with Vince and Kevin Dunn, they do not acknowledge NXT. You know, there's been reports that they say that says that Vince, you know, doesn't watch NXT. So go figure. I mean, NXT is NXT, you know, and it's far superior than the main roster. What can I say? So. So I believe that Bianca Belair, she's different. She's very different from a lot of the women on the NXT locker room. I like her long ponytail, everything, all that is just, she's very unique, super athletic. And she is a up-and-coming star that will definitely do, if handled well, do wonders up in the main roster. So, we'll see what happens with that. Mia Yim, of course, not bad herself. I like Mia Yim. I believe she's got still a lot to go and learn as far as the WWE style of wrestling. So, but she's doing well for her own. I like her. I've seen her stuff. We've seen her wrestle in the Mae Young Classic. So we know what she's about. She's great. And then we have a video package of Gargano and Black. Man, like I said, you know, great feud. It is the hottest feud in NXT right now. And I would say in WWE, in all WWE. It showed from for when Alistair was attacked all the way to Regal asking Gargano, "Did you attack Alistair Black?" And Johnny Gargano replied, "Look into my eyes. You'll find the answer." To Nikki Cross saying, I know who it was. And then We've seen Nikki Cross coming in, saying he's here, and then Alistair Black destroying the security outside to get in the building. And then we've seen Alistair Black get on William Regal's face. Where is he? And we're all thinking, like, who the hell is he talking about? We're going to find out. And all of a sudden, we see Johnny Gargano. And then they incorporated the promo from last week when he was walking outside of the Performance Center and the spot where he knocked out Alistair Black. So all that great stuff, man. I'm excited for their match. I believe that's the match, like I said, it's going to steal the show. I believe that Alistair Black will win this match, but let me say this. I think that Alistair Black will win, but I know that Johnny Gargano is going to win. But I want Alistair to win, but I know Johnny will win. Because if they're going to have Gargano chase the storyline of Tommaso Ciampa is mine for the taking, I'm going to deal with it, then, or just have all of them three have the triple threat match that they never had back in August. I forgot what TakeOver was that. But the triple threat that never happened because Johnny Gargano took out Alistair Black, which in reality he was injured. Continue on the feud with all three. But eventually, Alistair Black will be called up, and then we have Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa, which eventually I believe as well that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people will agree that Tommaso Ciampa will drop the title to Gargano come WrestleMania weekend if they plan to have Ciampa hold the title that long, because like I said, Tommaso Ciampa has been in the back burner now, and he's not as hot as he was a month ago. So we'll see what happens with that. Then we have Kathy Kelly ask the War Raiders, Ricochet, and Dawn backstage on who's going to face O'Reilly, because O'Reilly was picked to have be on the match to determine who is going to have the advantage at War Games. And then Kelly asks who's going to face O'Reilly. And then Ricochet says, you know what? I'm the one to do it. Then Pete Dunne came in and said, no, man, you know what, mate? No, I have to do it. No. And then Ricochet was like, no, I got to do it. I got to do it. And he's got to do it. They got an argument. And then Hanson and Rowe were looking at each other. And then Rowe just yells, stop it. Enough. And then Hanson said, volunteer himself, saying, I'm the one who's going to face him. So he walks away. The match made official for the main event. Hanson versus O'Reilly to determine who will have the advantage at TakeOver War Games. Lacey Evans versus Karissa Rivera. I've never seen Karissa Rivera before. The match was it was decent for what it was. Drop toe hold to Rivera, and we have Lacey Evans doing push-ups while pinning Karissa down. And then we have Karissa with chops and drop kicks to Lacey for a 1 count. Then I believe Rivera hits Lacey, and Lacey did not like whatever move she used on Lacey, and Lacey just hits the women's right for the win. Then she cuts a promo saying NXT is full of a bunch of classes nasties, and that how women forget to carry themselves with sophistication, but she'll lead by example, and if they don't adhere to her standards, she'll teach them a lesson in class with the women's right. So, pretty short and sweet promo there. She's with this, I am understanding that they're building up Lacey Evans. I mean, she's gotten better from where she was from last year. She's progressed a lot. I'm really not a big fan of her character, but she is pretty different. She has that old school style look, attire, and everything. So, we'll see what goes on with that. eventually. Then we have Kathy Kelly backstage interviewing Matt Riddle, asking how his experience in NXT has been so far. And this is hilarious, man. We have Matt Riddle say, he says it's been amazing, man, so far. And he made his debut. And when he say his debut and he was successful, I seriously laughed my ass off, man. It's been amazing so far, and I made my debut and I was successful, and I'm ready to take on NXT. If you follow me on my Facebook, man, and on my IG at the In10sity Podcast on IG and Stay True 92 on Facebook, you'll see the video there, man. Fucking just golden, man. It was great. It was fucking hilarious. I love Matt Riddle, man. I'm telling you, man, he's going to be so great in NXT, man, and on the main roster. Anywhere he goes, the people will love this guy. I know that. He's going to be super successful in NXT, and I can't wait to see this man wrestle on next Wednesday, which I'll get to that in a second, because after, while this was going on, the interview was going on, Ono interrupts and says to Riddle that he asked Regal if, all week, if Matt has tried to ask Regal to challenge Ono for a match. And that confrontation that he had between last week when he was walking down backstage with Keith Lee, that was a test to see if Riddle was going to fall for that and challenge Ono for a match. But then Riddle says, you know what, man? I'll challenge you. I'll take your little test. I'll take you on next week, and I'll pass your little test, and I'll leave you knocked out in the middle of that ring, bro. And then Ono walks out, and Kathy apologizes to Matt Riddle, and then Matt Riddle says, you know what, don't be sorry, that he's used to it. So that is what I was going to get to. Matt Riddle and Cassius Ono cut from the official match card of NXT War Games due to the fact that two of the matches on War Games are going to be lengthy, which is going to be the War Games match and the 2 out of 3 falls match. It makes total sense. So I can understand why they cut that match off. But, I was disappointed. I wanted to see Matt Riddle on the main card. But that's fine. Next week we'll get Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ono. Should be a great match. And, I can't wait for that. So we'll see that next week for sure. Then we have Hanson versus O'Reilly. The match was great for what it was. We have Hanson dominating on the early going, but O'Reilly targets the left leg, that was pretty much the bullseye for the remainder of the match. Chop block, dragon screws. Hanson hits a power slam for a 2 count. Hanson with a big boot that causes O'Reilly to fall out to the outside, followed by a suicide dive by Hanson. Then Hanson gets to the top rope. And, man, I'm telling you, when I tell you that Hanson, man, a guy his size, Cole comes out to tell Hanson, don't you dare. And Hanson just looks at him, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I'm still going to continue to do what I was going to do. Hanson gets on the top rope and goes for a moonsault, man. A moonsault. A guy that size doing a moonsault? Come on, man. If you watch this stuff in ROH and New Japan, you see this man doing handstands, springboard handstands, everything, man. This guy does it all. So, goes for the moonsault, but Kyle O'Reilly moves out of the way, hits a running knee for a 2 count. Then he goes for an armbar, but transitions into an ankle lock, which Hanson gets to the bottom rope for a rope break. And then the ref has his back to Hansen, and Cole hits an enziguri from the outside to Hansen. And then Riley follows that up with an axe kick to the back of the head. Forearm smash, and then goes for a pin for a 2 count. Rowe comes out and hits the forearm on Cole. Then cartwheel by Hansen on the inside of the ring. Cartwheel by Hansen, then hits a clothesline to O'Reilly, while the rest of both teams come out and go on with a brawl. And then while the ref is distracted once again by the brawl that's going on outside, Kyle uses the one of the tag team belts, and hits Hansen in the back of the head for the 1, 2, 3. The Undisputed Era having the advantage. Like I said last week, I told you the baby faces are going to overcome. The heels are going to win this match. Self-explanatory. Makes perfect sense. Okay? So, we have that. That was pretty much the show. As far as Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler go, the one thing I have to say, Shayna Baszler is not going to win. It's not going to retain the championship. That's a given. That's a given. Because what's going to happen is she's going to drop the title to Kairi Sane, which Kairi Sane will also become a 2-time NXT Women's Champion. Okay? And Shayna is going to, I really hope, and I'm telling you, just like I told you last week, that the Undisputed Era was going to win this week and have the advantage at War Games. I guarantee you Shayna is going to come up with the rest of the 4 horsewomen, the MMA 4 horsewomen, which is Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke, with Shayna Baszler interfere in the match between Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair, which will cause both 4 horsewomen, MMA side versus WWE side, and that's going to be something to be looking forward to in the future, because if you've been following reports, you have seen that there was rumors that both sides of the 4 horsewomen were going to face off at Survivor Series, but that's not going to happen, because what's going to happen instead is that the seed's going to be planted on Sunday, and Shayna's going to come up and interfere some way to help Ronda Rousey defeat Charlotte Flair, and then Charlotte Flair is going to get Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch once she's cleared, sometime soon. I don't know if that's going to happen right away after Becky Lynch is cleared. I don't want that to happen now, of course. Maybe that won't happen. Shayna will not interfere yet, or be involved with Ronda Rousey as of yet. But it's bound to happen, and we're going to have ourselves both sides of the 4 horsewomen facing each other. And what's going to happen with Kairi Sane is, like I said in the beginning, Bianca Belair will be the new person to feud with Kairi Sane for the NXT Women's Championship. So, that's pretty much, it books itself. It's just continuation. Shayna Baszler comes up, Bianca Belair's being built up. The match she wants tonight, she's not going to lose. She's being groomed. She's being built up, being given momentum with each win. Still undefeated. She's going to beat Kairi Sane. I'm more than positive that Bianca Belair will be the next NXT Women's Champion. Okay, so that's that. The War Games match. I have a feeling, like I said earlier, I think that Alistair Black will win, but I know that Johnny Gargano will win. I think that the Undisputed Era will win, but I know that War Raiders and Pete Dunne and Ricochet are going to win. Maybe that's not the case, but I really think so. As far as Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler, I know and think, I feel and know that Kairi Sane is going to win. That's no question about that. Tommaso Ciampa versus Dream. I feel Tommaso Ciampa is going to win, and I know Tommaso Ciampa will win. Velveteen Dream is not going to win the championship. Velveteen Dream is bound to be called up to the main roster, and I personally don't like the idea because you know how WWE main roster handles NXT call-ups. It's never a good thing. Never a good thing. So, I don't know, man. I'm not really liking that. I don't like the idea, you know. Shayna Baszler, out of the four horsewomen, Shayna Baszler is the best out of all of them. Now I don't know how she'll be displayed up in the main roster, but I'm positive that she'll do well. Velveteen Dream, man, I really don't know. Like I'm very skeptical. You know, as over as this man is, you know, he's great. He's a babyface going in the match against Tommaso Ciampa, of course. You know how over this man is. And he has a whole lot ahead of him. He's very young, super young. And he's got his whole career ahead of him. And to be as good as he is and as young as he is, this guy is bound for greatness. But that is if the main roster knows how to handle him and books him accordingly, you know? So, we'll see what happens, man. You know, this NXT episode was short and sweet. We got matches and video packages. We got Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ohno. That match will take place before NXT TakeOver War Games. Will be filmed before, so a dark match per se. And we will see it happen next week on NXT on Wednesday. And that was pretty much it, man. It was a good NXT. Nothing major besides the fact that Undisputed Era has the advantage at War Games. So I can't wait, man. Like I said, I can't wait. I'm pretty sure that NXT TakeOver War Games will blow the roof out of Survivor Series as usual. The takeovers always dominate the main roster pay-per-views. I'm excited, and so should you, man. So yeah, I will see you guys this weekend. I will be reviewing both NXT TakeOver War Games and Survivor Series. This has been the In10sity Podcast. I am your host, Stay292. Follow me on Facebook at Stay292, on IG and Twitter at the In10sity Podcast. Follow Kevin Gray, the man behind the graphics, as you see on the video. Follow his Instagram and take a look at all his artwork as a tattoo artist. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments below. Tell me who you think who's going to win between the War Games match between the Undisputed Era versus War Games and Pete Dunne and Ricochet. Who's going to win between Tommaso Ciampa and Dream? Between Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler and Alistair Black and Gargano. Leave your thoughts below. Feedback is welcomed. Please give this video a thumbs up. Share the video, subscribe, and turn on the bell for all notifications. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys this weekend for NXT TakeOver War Games. I will talk to you later.